Hey everyone, it's Mojaxx back in the DJcity UK lab. Today we've got a version check for you. We are looking at Serato DJ 1.9.6, which has now been in public beta for a couple of weeks. It's definitely worth looking at, as with so many recent Serato DJ versions. This one in particular, if you are a DVS user, if you're using the noise map control vinyl with your turntables, this has got lots in there for you. So let's get to it. So the first thing to look at is the new anti-drift mode for DVS vinyl control. So with any turntable setup, you've got wow and flutter, and just the nature of the noise map control going into the software, it's always going to fluctuate ever so slightly with a turntable. And you can see in this case, this deck is going from 97.9 up to 98.1 or thereabouts. So it's a pretty stable BPM. It's not bad, but with the new anti-drift feature, we can actually go more steady than that. So all you do is go into your setup screen, the CD vinyl tab, turn on anti-drift, and you'll see after a few seconds, it will lock in to the BPM. There you go, so it's locked in now at 98, and that's really stable. Now, this doesn't affect the way that you play with it. You can still pitch bend up and down and everything else. It doesn't do anything weird. It doesn't feel weird. You know, this is one of those features that initially I was like, that might feel kind of odd with a turntable not doing that fluctuation. You're so used to it, but actually no, it's just locks in really nicely. And for those extra super long blends, you're gonna find it makes that blend a lot more comfortable. So definitely worth trying that one out. Now, the other thing is with turntable control, we now have some more sync options. So we have the option to turn on Smart Sync. And let's just get this other deck playing over on the other side. So you just hit sync on the deck that you want to sync from, and that becomes your master deck, and then hit sync on the other deck, and they will stay locked to the beat grids. And if you do something that causes it to fall out of sync, then you hit sync again and it will sync right to the beat grid. So I'm not gonna, judge whether you sync or not. Some of my favorite DJs on the planet use sync all the time. If you don't want to use it creatively, that's up to you. But if you do, Smart Sync might work better for you than Simple Sync, which was the option that you had there before. You now have the option as well, tempo slider affects all synced decks. So in this case, we've got the two decks synced up. Just get them back in place again. So there you go, they're both locked in. And now if I adjust the pitch on this turntable, it's going to bring down both decks at the same time. And they are smart synced. They're going to stay locked on the BPM. So that could be very useful for transitions and that kind of thing. One caveat, of course, is that you will need your beat grids to be dead on for that to really work well. Now, another feature which Serato have worked on a lot in 1.9.6 is the sensitivity of needle dropping. If you're not familiar with this feature, basically it allows you to drop the needle either to an absolute position on the vinyl or to a cue point. So if you drop to absolute position, in the case of this one, I lift up the stylus and put it at the beginning. It's the beginning of the track. If I put it 2 minutes in, this short track is finished, so minute and a half. It's basically like a hybrid of absolute and relative mode kind of mixed together, just with the needle drop, but also drop to cue point is a really useful one, which I hadn't tried until sort of fairly recently. I've got into this one. So if I drop now into the first minute marker there, we'll go to the first cue point. If I drop to the second minute marker, anywhere in there, it will go to the second one. And the third one goes to my third cue point every time. And this ties in as well to the sticker lock functionality. Now, we'll get into that in detail in another video another time, but if you use that, I know a lot of diehard Scratch Live users haven't really got on with sticker lock in Serato DJ. Again, it's a cool feature, and hopefully this is gonna basically enhance the experience of using sticker lock in Serato DJ. But as I say, we'll talk about that in another video another time. One small feature which will make a lot of people happy is the ability now to sort both your cues and your loops that you've saved chronologically, so they will fall as they would naturally throughout the track. You could only do that with your cue points before. Now just click the option in the setup screen and you can do cues and loops in chronological order. Another cool addition is the ability to save 2 different effects banks now in your effects setup. So for example, if you like to use a single effect most of the time, but you have a chain of combo effects that you also like to use, you can switch between those 2 pretty easily. So now we've got FX Bank A, so I'm in A, and that's my single echo that I like to use. And then over on B, I've got a combo effect over there with 3 different effects on each side. You can make changes to it, like the beat length and so on, and then you can actually save that to the new bank. So we just hit Save B, and that is now saved on B. So when I go back to B, that's going to be as it was. Now, one thing you can't do is, unlike with Traktor, you can't like save a snapshot and save your particular settings for each of those effects. Like on my Echo, I like to have a certain high pass filter amount, certain feedback amount and everything else. You can't save those. Hopefully that will come down the pipe at a later stage, but this is definitely a step in the right direction. And finally, the pitch play feature, which was first found on the Denon DJ MCX 8000, has now made its way to a bunch more controllers. So all-in-ones, the Pioneer DDJ SX, SX2 and the SZ, the Newmark NS7 2 and 3, the Newmark NV and NV2, all now have the pitch play feature available to you, as well as external add-on controllers like this DDJ SP1 and the Akai AFX. So this is a cool addition to basically any hardware that will support it. You do have to have the pitch and time plug-in. You have to buy that and have it enabled for it to work. But then once you do, it's really quite simple. On any of those controllers, you either hit sampler twice or shift and sampler to go into the pitch play mode. And once we've done that, we can see which cue point that is actually active. So in this case, I'm going to start with cue point number 1 by holding shift. And then we can just go up and down. And using the parameter controls, you can decide whether it's going to go all the way up or all the way down or halfway. So it just depends on your preference as to what you want to do with your tone plays that you're going to use this for. But again, we just go and choose a different slots, a different hot cue. And the one that remains illuminated, that is your original pitch. So if you need to get back to that, that's the one to hit and that will put you back to your original pitch. But yeah, the pitch play feature is really cool, and the more hardware that Serato can add it to, the better as far as I'm concerned. So there you go, a brief look around Serato DJ 1.9.6. As always, a bunch of new features, as well as the usual raft of bug fixes that they have in here. But at the time of making this video, it is still a public beta. It is not a full final release. So don't download it and expect to be using it in the club this weekend. Go and download the beta, play with it at home. You can have multiple versions installed and give your feedback on the new features and the bug fixes and everything else directly to Serato in the public beta forum, and you can be a part of the Serato community and actually help the product become more solid over time. You know, that's one of the great things about the Serato community, is that is how it works. You do get to do these betas, you do get to give your feedback, and hopefully that will make a better product for everyone in the end. Thank you for watching today. Make sure you subscribe for all our future tips, tricks, and product reviews. I'll see you soon.